What is up, guys? NYKF31 here, bringing you a game of Madden 25 online. Someone, I forgot who, wanted to see the Miami Dolphins running the run and shoot and the Tampa 2 with user defensive end control. So, ask and you shall receive. I'll go into the Dolphins roster at the end of this video, how I have them set up. The Dolphins have a couple of problems when playing Tampa 2. One, their linebackers do not block shed at all. And two, they don't cover. That's two very significant problems to have. Their safeties rot. Their corners aren't very physical. But anyhow, I'll get into the roster later on. But what I want to talk about is my impressions about the Madden 15 live stream. SimF Ball Critic posted the entire thing on his channel for the benefit of us all. Thank you for that, SimF Ball. Doing a really great service. And I'm going to be talking about my impressions as far as what was discussed and what was shared. Very impressive. Very informative. Lots of information. A plethora of facts, figures, the thought process that the devs went into as far as how they wanted to develop the game this year, and I came away very impressed. Now, I know this YouTube football sim community better than the community knows itself, and I can guarantee you, as sure as I am drawing in oxygen, that some degenerate somewhere is muttering about it looks the same, they're lying to us again, or poring over the footage, combing through to post a video of stuff that they're going to be nitpicking about. Guarantee you that's happening. And that's fine. Do what you want to do. Live like it's 2007. The rest of us will live in the here and now and acknowledge reality. Now, if you don't like the game or you're on the fence about the game, that's fine, but at least be rational. Don't be a foaming at the mouth degenerate hater for this, just for the sake of hating it, and because you're holding on to your 2K not being present bitterness. But my overall impression of the footage is that it's pretty apparent that they're slowly but surely, and we're starting to ramp up that slowly but surely, they're looking to weed out the type of player who I'm playing from the game. The type of person who will not like the game. I can guarantee you this as well. The type of person that will not like this game is a type of person who will be complaining that their three-man nano isn't getting through, that they can't fire the ball in traffic blindly and not pay a price, either in the form of their receivers getting their heads knocked off, or the pass being broken up or INT'd, complaining that their pass rush is overpowered and they don't have enough time to throw. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. Now, I'm sure the nerds that populate online tournament gaming are going to find glitches and things to exploit. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. It happens in all these games. I mean, hell, we just kicked out someone in the MLB The Show league that I'm in for exploiting the game, and I didn't even know it was possible to exploit a baseball game. I don't even know how you would even go about doing that, but apparently it's so, and he got booted. Now, I feel the type of person that will gain a lot of positive vibes, I guess, and potentially enjoy the game a great deal, would be someone who has a understanding of offensive and defensive concepts, such as yours truly, and most of y'all who are watching. And a lot of what I saw, seems to cater to that. Like, myself here, who in the world in online rank runs a Tampa 2? Who in the world in online league runs a Tampa 2? It's not exactly a common defensive scheme in the Madden world. And if I'm able to piece it together and make it viable, on an online ranked environment, given the way that people are looking to exploit it with, AI exploits, overpowered running plays, money pass plays out of certain formations, and all that good stuff. If I'm able to make it work with a DAX tech that gets me, if you give me more tools, that's going to only enhance my experience. It's only going to make me better. And I think that goes for the rest of you out there who don't want to be over-reliant on stick skills and just want to line up and play football. I did have a fear that the defensive line mechanics especially would be a, button mashing paradise. Like you see me using the defensive end, I'm using Deion Jordan in this particular game. Sometimes I'll use Cameron Wake, sometimes Deion Jordan, just depending on the offensive tackle matchup. But I'm able to do some pretty good stick work here with him. But it seems like the concern over the button and stick combo, I guess the left stick to steer and the button to do your block shedding or pass rush move, that being just a button masher's paradise, I didn't see an indicator that that was going to be the case. It wasn't like DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Dwight Freeney were just ripping through at will. It does seem to be balanced from what I can see, and I love the coverage mechanics. I really love how those look. I'm really looking forward to applying those, and I didn't see that defense is going to be just hopped up on steroids. You're going to be able to move the ball, but again, we'll get more of an idea about this when we get into demos and playing it for ourselves. But here's basically what I envision happening. I run my run and shoot, and the foundation play of the run and shoot is the go concept. The flat seam read is the staple, and I envision being able to establish that go, choice, slide, streak option, HY option, and being able to establish that base, and as the defense begins to adapt and my opponent begins to adapt, then breaking out constraints off of that base. One of the next film videos I'm going to be doing is on the Saints offense, and the Saints do a lot of that. What they like to do is that they like to run a lot of double posts and a lot of deep digs off of shallow cross and bait routes to get the defense to squeeze and really open up things downfield. Same thing with the ground game, whether you're running a Chip Kelly style of spread or a quote-unquote pro-style scheme with zone blocking mixed in with your powers and counter trays as your constraints off of your zone blocking, or vice versa. That's what football is. It's a game of probing, seeing where the defense is soft, and getting them to overextend to stop what you're doing to hit them somewhere else. And on the defensive side of the ball, same thing. Defense wants to dictate to the offense what they are willing to concede and what they're absolutely refusing to give up. That's overly simplistic, but you get the general idea. And, from the mechanics that I see that are in the game and the way that the presentation displayed what they're bringing to the game and how the features are going to work, and showing us some, live gameplay and practice mode and in head-to-head human versus human action, I feel very encouraged about how the game is going to play. So I'd love to hear what you guys think as well about what you guys saw. And if you haven't, pay a visit to SimFBall's channel. I think it's going to be well worth your time. So this game is done. Now on to the Dolphins roster, defensively at least. As I mentioned a little while ago, the Dolphins, defensively, they have some pretty nice strengths as far as Tampa 2, but some really, really big weaknesses. The strengths: front four, Cameron Wake is a monster, 97 finesse move, decent enough block shedder against the run, very athletic, strong. Deion Jordan's got a 90 pass rush move. I don't remember if it's finesse or power. I think it's finesse as well. Not as good a block shedder, which is why I have him on the right side and Cameron Wake on the quote-unquote strong side, which would be your right, the defense's left. You see his ratings there, and you see the depth behind him. Vernon is a pretty good guy to have in my NASCAR set when I go 4 DEs in my dime. And Deion Jordan's problem is that he's just not very strong. There'll be times when I'm rushing with him, or was rushing with him, where he just cannot push the pocket back, even if he can't trigger a move. He's just not very stout, but he's really quick, and if he does get off, he's going to close. You're going to close with him very nicely if you use him, and plus if you leave him to his own devices. I'm still not quite sure how I feel about button L stick versus the right stick yet. I agree that the right stick needs to be more responsive, and if the button gives us more responsiveness, that's fine. I'm all for that. I just would rather have the buttons laid out to, whatever the control schematics is, laid out to give me control over what move I trigger. Now here's a nice pair of defensive tackles. Randy Starks and Paul Salali. They are some really good pluggers up the middle. Good block shedders. Starks is a good pass rusher. The linebackers aren't very strong. They're pretty athletic though. Their coverage is pretty borderline for what I would like out of a Tampa 2. Misi here is athletic. He's the best that I have to play the strong side. Not a great block shedder. Not great strength. They're good in space, but they can get handled, and often do. You see his pursuit, play recognition, block shedding. The pursuit is pretty nice. The play recognition is okay. Daniel Ellerby is nice and athletic. He's got borderline zone coverage for that middle. Ideally, I want 75 at a bare minimum for the linebackers. And again, he's just not a very good block shedder. But he can, do some nice things in space. But again, his coverage is borderline for what I want. The guy that I have playing my Derek Brooks role as best as I can, replicate it, I actually sub him in at middle linebacker in a dime and in the quarter. You're going to see why in just a moment. Jelani Jenkins. Dumb as a box of rocks as far as awareness and player recognition goes. But he can hit, he's fast, and he can really zone cover. And he has 75 man coverage as well. His zone coverage is in the 80s, so with his speed, all I'm asking him to do is pretty much run down the damn seam. And he plays the weak side linebacker in the 4-3. Now here's a problem with this team. Secondary outside of Brent Grimes is brutal. Now, first of all, why do I have Nolan Carroll number 1 on the depth chart? I like to have my best tackling corner on the strong side. So when I'm using a safety and I'm in man coverage, I'll just leave the Grimes side alone and just kind of look to give help, because Grimes is going to be fine. His press is, in the mid to high 70s. His man coverage is very good. The whole secondary just isn't very physical. They don't press very well. They don't tackle very well. And they just all around give me a heart attack. And the safeties aren't much better. Chris Clemens, 80, is very borderline for a deep half safety. That can give you some strokes. And Rashad Jones, he's an in-the-box run-plugging safety. 79 zone coverage, again, not what you want. You want 85, bare minimum. But, you can't always have everything. You just got to kind of mix and match sometimes with what you have personnel-wise and find ways to make it work. So, there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Talk to you all later. Peace.